Gekrönt wird dieser Kampf von 3 Profi-Duellen und der Titelverteidigung von Lokalmatador und MMA-Champion Lloyd Ranscher. 13 Kämpfe, die besten Fighter Europas. Dresden, seid ihr bereit für MMA Live? Das klingt doch schon sehr gut, bevor wir zum ersten Fight des heutigen Abends kommen. Wollen wir allerdings noch einmal die teilnehmenden Nationen hier vorstellen und ich bitte in den Ring auf die Bühne die Nationalmannschaften der teilnehmenden Fighter. Bei der WM vertreten das Team aus der Slowakei. diese Reihe von Herren hier sind maßgeblich mit dafür verantwortlich, dass wir ein so großes Event wie eine Europameisterschaft hier in wunderschönen Dresden beschauen dürfen. Oleg, ich fange mit dir kurz an, du stehst hier an meiner Linken, du bist hier der Kopf von MMA von dieser Veranstaltung und Serie, du bist auch Präsident der German Federation, also des deutschen MMA-Verbandes im Bundesland Sachsen. Oleg, das ist nicht die erste Veranstaltung, die du hier in Dresden auf die Beine stellst. Ich weiß, als Veranstalter, das ist immer mit dem Lachen und dem Weinen auch, und dann sehr, sehr viel Stress, aber man erlebt natürlich auch tolle Sachen. Sag uns, was macht Dresden als Kampfsport-Hauptstadt des Ostens denn so besonders?
Wir haben sehr lange Weg gemacht für diese Veranstaltung. Wir haben Frühling hier nach Deutschland, nach Dresden hingekriegt. Ich habe diese normale Veranstaltung auch dafür gedacht, dass mehr Leute solche Show gucken, mehr Leute Sport interessieren. Und wir freuen uns natürlich heute auf so viele Leute hier. Hier weiter erstmal. Ich glaube, wir gehen uns.
I want to thank everybody for coming here to the European Championships. I want to thank the 15 countries that were here participating. They are the strongest countries in Europe. The sport can only thrive with the best athletes, and we have the best athletes here. But I also want to give a big thank you to Oleg, to Lucen, to Adrian, who doesn't want to come in the ring, but Adrian, we did not forget you. All the people who were here, the referees, they worked the first day 24 hours to here till the next morning when the tournament started. Without them and without the athletes, there is no MMA. So, thank you all for coming here.
Ja, das war der Generalsekretär des Weltverbandes der World MMA Association, Alex Engelhardt, und für alle, die des Englischen vielleicht nicht so mächtig sind, er hat auch nochmal gesagt, so ein Sport ist natürlich nichts ohne seine Sportler, und die besten Sportler, die Europas, die haben wir hier heute versammelt. Im Übrigen hat sich nochmal bei allen Beteiligten bedankt, die dabei geholfen haben, ein solches Event hier auf die Bühne zu stellen, und er ist auch einer, der da einiges mit zugetan hat, der Vizepräsident des deutschen MMA-Verbandes, der German MMA Federation. Vielleicht nur noch ein paar abschließende Worte dazu. Du hast ja, ich habe es erwähnt, wir hatten hier gestern schon die Vorkämpfe, die Halbfinals, die Finalkämpfe, wo die Kämpfer ihr Ticket für heute lösen konnten. Du hast diese Kämpfe alle gesehen. Wie ist denn das Niveau hier in Deutschland, in Europa inzwischen? Wir schauen ja mal immer nach Amerika, aber eigentlich haben wir hier in Europa ja auch ganz gute Kämpfer.
Ja, natürlich. Wir haben das beste Niveau. Ja, wir sind hier Weltmannschaft, und ich bedanke natürlich für Initiative, für Unterstützung, für Organisation. Ich bedanke alle. Vielen Dank und viel Spaß.
Ja, ich denke, hier ist nichts hinzuzufügen. Alex und Lucen, ich danke euch erstmal. Genießt die Show genauso wie die Zuschauer hier, und wir freuen uns jetzt auf den ersten Kampf des heutigen Abends. Ja, wie bereits versprochen, heute sind einige Europameisterschaften auszukämpfen. Los geht es mit dem Finalduell der Damen im Strohgewicht bis 52,2 Kilogramm. Ein Kampf angesetzt auf 2 Runden. Und ich rufe in die blaue Ecke Dagina Sachi. Kämpferin in der blauen Ecke ist 27 Jahre jung, 1,65 Meter groß und sogar mit 52,2 Kilogramm. Aus der Ukraine, Samczyk. Ihre Gegnerin in der blauen Ecke ist 21 Jahre jung, 1,63 Meter groß. Sie sogar mit 52,2 Kilogramm aus Weißrussland, Antonina Kuleshova.
So this is the first final of the European Championships in the strawweight division. Daria Samczyk in the white shirt from the Ukraine faces Belarusian Antonina Kuleshova. Nice, both fighters. So both girls had a few fights yesterday to get their ticket for the finals today. So we'll see how both manage to get through that pressure and that exhaustion of having a couple of fights under their belt only one day prior to those finals here. Samczyk in the white shirts, being the bigger of the two, using her reach to her advantage here, landing a couple of good shots. Oh, big right hand by Samczyk. But finds herself in the bottom position with Kuleshova on top of her. But both girls now standing back. Nice judo throw by Kuleshova. Now inside control. Work in the arm of the Ukrainian fighter. But nice sweep by Samchik, who's about to take the back of her opponent. One hook is already in. Working on the second hook. Second hook is in too, and now it's dangerous for Kuleshova, who has to defend the rear naked choke here, but does so nicely. Both girls back standing now. It's always tough to fight back to back. Several fights in only 2 days. That tournament mode, always tough for any fighter. But these two, the best of the best in their respective weight class in Europe. Ukraine versus Belarus, the Eastern European countries, of course, always extremely strong in MMA competition. Nice kick to the body by Kuleshova, who tried to take Samchik down here. Both fighters using their reach very well, but still having problems finding their right distance. Nice jab. A nice spinning back fist by Kuleshova. What a great fight to start off those European Championship finals in Dresden today. Samchik now trying to power down Kuleshova. And does so perfectly. Tries to take the back again. Kuleshova spins on her back. Oh, big mistake there by Kuleshova. Samchik now in full mount position, raining down punches. Very dangerous position here for Kuleshova, who's eating punches, and referee Jörg Lotman is looking closely. Should Kuleshova not defend a bit more, this fight is about to be stopped in seconds. Only 20 seconds left on the clock in his first of 2 5-minute rounds. Kuleshova now trying to slip out to the back door, but Samchik doesn't let that happen, raining down punches in bunches. And that's a 10-second warning. Both fighters standing again, spinning back fist again by Kuleshova, but eating punches by Samchik. What a finish to that first round. Wow. Both girls obviously want that European Championship bad. Leaving all in the ring here in the final seconds of that first round, with Samchik getting the better of those exchanges. As I said, using her reach well. And this is the corner of Antonina Kulesheva from Belarus. Here are some highlights from that first round. Nicely timed takedown attempt. Didn't work, however. Nice defense by Samchik. Here are those exchanges. Right in the middle of the ring. Nice judo throw by Kuleshova, but wasn't able to do anything with it. Got sweep just a second later. That was this spinning back fist by the Belarusian. She threw that 2 times in 1 round, so she has to be careful that Samchik doesn't prepare for that attack, because if a spinning back fist misses, we have a big problem. Crowd here in Dresden appreciating the effort of both girls. And we're off to round 2. Kuleshova opening up with straight punches. And there's Samchik answering with a big right. And Kuleshova in mount now. Big mistake by Samchik. it's Kuleshova who's attacking the arm of Samchik, and this one looks close. Nice defense though by Samchik. Fought the armbar well and seems to be out of danger at this moment. Bad position now for Kuleshova, who's back on bottom, and as Samchik on her back again. First hook is in, second hook as well. But Kuleshova is trying to do the only thing right at this moment. She's trying to turn into her opponent. Right now, Samchik is letting that happen. Gave up the bag, and the rear naked choke attempt now in half guard is Daria Samchik from Ukraine. Kuleshova on bottom, only 21 years old at the beginning of her career. How big would winning the European Championships be for a young woman like her? Samchik trying to pass the guard, does so perfectly, right into side control. And now back into half guard. Kind of a chess match right now on the ground here by both women, with under 3 minutes on the clock left. Samchik now back into mount, and now back mount. Kuleshova has given up her back way too easy, if you ask me. Small punches here by Samchik to find openings for that rear naked choke. And that arm seems to be under the chin of Kuleshova, and there it is. Rear naked choke victory by Daria Samchik, who is now European champion, and she can't believe it herself. What a victory and what a fight by the 27-year-old Ukrainian.
Siegerin des Kampfes durch Rear Naked Choke in der zweiten Runde und damit Europameisterin, Stromgewinnerinnen Daria Samchik. Einen großen Applaus aber auch nochmal für die Gewinnerin
for the second European Championship fight. We the blue corner faces from Greece, who gives up the kick by Radova, takes her down to the ground, right into the guard of the Czech fighter. Nice action by Kristina Shari-Steliu from Greece, who might be the smaller fighter, but is getting the better of the exchanges right now. Oh, big right hand, another one by Steliu, and that one rocked Radova, who's marching forward with long punches, but doesn't connect. Nice footwork by the Greek. Classic kickboxing stance by Radova, who's bouncing on her feet. Clinch now. Initiated, interestingly, by Radova. Now presses Steliu against the ropes. Tries to take her down, grabs the ankle, gets her to the ground. Right into full mount. Big move by Veronika Radova, who's raining down hard right hands. And this looks like a tight mount. Steliu is trying to use the ropes and that little fence to sweep Radova, but no chance in hell. She's sitting there and raining down ground and pound. Referee Jörg Lothmann looking closely. Well, not the best ground and pound defense by Steliu, who's just reaching out with her arms, leaving her face open for punches. No elbows allowed here, of course, in amateur competition. Over 2 minutes left on the clock. Lots of time for Radova to finish this fight from the mount. Steliu not trying to get out of this mount position. She's trying to buck, but she should really try to work her way back into the guard by shrimping. Now she's holding on to Radova, who seems to be the stronger of the two here, and postures herself up to rain down even more punches. 1.5 minutes left in the first round. Hard hammer fist by Radova. And Steliu, who had a great start to this round, is now being manhandled by the bigger Czech. And Lothmann is talking to Steliu. He says, you have to defend yourself, otherwise I will stop the fight. And with 1 minute left, this should be taken as a serious warning. And there it is, the fight is not over. Went a bit ahead of myself here. Just a warning for Radova to not grab the face of Steliu. Would have been an early stoppage nevertheless, but still hard punches by Radova to the face of Steliu, and there the fight is over. And that one was a good finish. We just saw the bloodied up Kristina Shari-Steliu and the victorious new European champion Veronika Radova from the Czech Republic.
Und damit kommen wir auch schon zu den Herren der Schöpfung und zum ersten Männerfinale im Fliegengewicht bis 56,7 Kilogramm. Dieser Kampf angesetzt auf 3 Runden und ich rufe in die blaue Ecke Andrei Kalekis.
Я люблю свою страну, я уверен по-своему значит. Может быть, как-то и любим, но мы не можем иначе. Это наша земля, и она тут не виновата. Это наши края, это родина наших ребят.
Und ich rufe seinen Gegner in die rote Ecke, Mira zu. Schick Mira! Der Kämpfer in der blauen Ecke ist 21 Jahre jung und 1,67 Meter groß. Er bereit mit 56,7 Kilogramm aus Weißrussland. Andrei Kalekis! Und sein Gegner in der roten Ecke ist 23 Jahre jung und 1,62 Meter groß. Er bereit mit 56 Kilogramm aus Russland. Machen wir dazu.
So this is the first European Championship fight in the male division. The flyweights are going at it. Andrei Kalekis in the white trunks faces Magomed Rasul Shikmagomedov from Russia. The fight between Byelorussia Belarus and Russia. A classic rivalry between those two countries. Let's see if those two fighters will write another great chapter of that big rivalry. Magomedov, the one pushing the pace, pushes Kalektis on the ropes, clinches him up, has double underhooks right here, goes for the single, actually for the double leg, and gets it, takes Kalektis to the ground, and now works his ground and pound from half guard, now full guard, but hard punches by Magomedov, 23 years young, the fighter from Russia. Advances into half guard. Relentless pace by Magomedov. And Kalektis has his troubles with the Russian, who now takes the back of the right Russian fighter, both hooks in. Dangerous situation for Kalektis, who needs to defend the ground and pound. He needs to watch out for the rear naked choke from here. And Magomedov stretches out Kalektis, who takes unanswered punches, and the fight is already over. What a dominant victory for the Russian Magomed Rasul Magomedov, who is now the new European champion in the flyweight division.
Sieger des Kampfes durch technische Knockout in der ersten Runde und damit neuer Europameister im Liegegewicht aus Russland. Magomed Rasul Magomedov. Und natürlich auch einen großen Applaus für seine Gegnerin, Silbermedaillisten Andrei Kalektis aus Weißrussland und den Kämpfer aus Spanien mit der Bronzemedaille. Ja, das ging fix, da soll noch mal einer sagen, die leichteren, die kleineren Kämpfer, die können nicht hart zulangen. Technischer Knockout in der ersten Runde, so schnell kann es gehen. Und wir machen direkt weiter mit dem EM-Finale im Bantamgewicht der Herren bis 61,2 Kilogramm. Auch dieser Kampf angesetzt auf 3 mal 5 Minuten. Ich rufe in die blaue Ecke Chamapuli Magomedov. Und ich rufe seinen Gegner in die blaue Ecke, Jochen Zielski Manko!
Мы любим свою страну, я уверен, по-своему значит. Может, не как мы любим, но мы не можем иначе. Это наша земля, и она тут не виновата. Это наши края, это родина наших ребят. Я белорусский парень, и ты знаешь, я так горжусь этим. Ведь эта земля, эта страна для меня лучшая на планете. Не думая о том, как было. Давай-ка посмотрим с другой стороны. Голову вверх, не опускать. Ведь наша страна это мы. Да, это наш, как и биатлон. Наше кричание мы дружно. И конечно стремим, и голос сорвал, скандирует Леша Калюша. Все это мое, это наше, пускай это наше останется с нами. И какая бы ты ни была, помни, для меня Беларусь мама.
Der Kämpfer in der roten Ecke ist 23 Jahre jung und 1 Meter und 70 groß. Er wog mit 61 Kilogramm und kommt aus Russland. Chemapuri Magoero! Sein Gegner in der blauen Ecke ist 24 Jahre jung und 1 Meter und 70 groß. Er wog mit 61 Kilogramm. Aus Weißrussland, Jochen Zielski Manko!
Fourth European Championship final coming up. The bantamweights are going at it. And again, it's a fight between Russia and Belarus. The white Russian fighter Jochen Sibirski Manko in the black trunks. And the Russian fighter Sharaputin Magomedov in the black with red trunks. Nice low kick by Magomedov. And big hands by Magomedov. As I said, the Russian fighters always incredibly strong in MMA competition. They have 17,000 registered amateurs in Russia. So no wonder that they get title after title in amateur competition. Nice double leg takedown by Magomedov right into the guard of Manko. The last fight we saw was also white Russia against Russia. And it was a big victory for the Russian fighter, and it looks like the Russian fighter is going to have the edge in this fight as well. Magomedov passing right into half guard, had the side mount, side control for a brief moment. Now trying to slide right into the mount. Now in side control. And he's pressuring Manko with quick and short punches from the side mount. Not the best groundwork by Manco, who needs to turn into his opponent instead of just laying there on his back. He tries to cage walk his way out of this position, but no chance, as Magomedov is pressuring him well from the top. Nice knee to the body by the Russian, who's only 23 years old. Two promising bantamweights here at the European Championships in Dresden. Another nice knee to the body, and another big one. You can already see a red bruise on the rib cage of Manco. You can't take too many of those, that's for sure. And Magomedov not giving up the side control here. Another knee to the midsection. And good timing by Manco, who managed to work his way back into the full guard now. Let's see what he can do with it. Magomedov unfazed by the new positioning, still raining down hard hammer fists, even from the guard position. And Manco already seems rattled by all of those punches. And to be honest, he already seemed a bit banged up going into this fight. Must have had some hard semi-final and quarter-final fights yesterday. As I said, always tough fighting back to back. But these guys are toughing it out right now. But this first round, still 1.5 minutes to go. Until now, it was all Magomedov. Manco now trying to punch back from the bottom. Not the best idea. Should use that position to go for submissions or try to sweep Magomedov, which will likely be a very hard thing to do. But nevertheless, he has to do something else than what he's doing right now, because he's eating punch after punch. 50 seconds are left in the first round. And the referee calling for defense here. Magomedov already smelling the finish, upping the ante here, raining down hammer fists and hooks, and that's it. 20 seconds before the finish, the referee calls a stop to this contest, and Shadowpin Magomedov is the new European bantamweight champion.
Und hier haben wir noch die beiden Bronzemedaillengewinner in dieser Gewichtsklasse. Einmal aus Ungarn, und aus der Tschechischen Republik, David Gut. Also, wir sehen Russland, eine sehr, sehr starke MMA-Nation. 2 Europameister bei den Herren haben wir jetzt hier schon aus Russland. Wir machen weiter im Federgewicht der Herren bis 65,8 Kilogramm. Dieser Kampf ebenfalls angesetzt auf 3 mal 5 Minuten. Ich rufe in die rote Ecke Russland, Mira! Und ich rufe seine Gegner in die blaue Ecke, Lali, Der Kämpfer in der roten Ecke ist 20 Jahre jung und 1,78 Meter groß. Er wog 1,65,8 Kilogramm aus der Ukraine, und sein Gegner in der blauen Ecke ist 23
The European Championship finals in the featherweight division. Ruslan Pervak from Ukraine in the black trunks faces Nabi Ashulayev from Russia in the gray and blue trunks. The featherweight division, one of the most coveted weight classes in MMA right now. And those two young prospects want to make it big in the 66 kilogram division. Nice kicking fest by both opponents here, and nicely timed takedown by Pervak, who goes for the single against the Russian Ashulayev. Already 2 Russian European champions in the male division. Can Ashulayev be the third? Manages to sweep Pervak and is now in half guard. Tries to sneak through that right knee to pass into side control. But needs to be careful as Pervak is working the left leg of the Russian. Was going for a leg lock there. But good defense by Ashulayev, who's now in the full guard of Pervak. And rains down heavy leather. Trying to pass the legs of Pervak is Ashulayev. But now close the distance again. Back into half butterfly guard, it looks like. And now takes the back of Pervak. Those Russian fighters always studs on the ground. Work in the ground and pound. You're watching to the referee, who's having a close look. And those referees, they will stop the fight, as we have seen in the previous matchups, if the downed opponent doesn't defend himself intelligently. Ashulayev trying to cover his head. And Pervak spending lots of energy raining down those punches. Now Pervak spins. And Ashulayev is back into the full guard. Nice pass by Ashulayev, who takes the back again of the Ukrainian Ruslan Pervak. Nice spin by Pervak, who's now back on top, and the crowd appreciates it. But again, there's Ashulayev back in half guard, and now passes right into side control here. Pure dominance by the Russian fighter on the ground. Who steps back into the half guard, and classic combo to the head, to the body. Hard punches now by Ashulayev. And this fight is about to be stopped in seconds. 1.5 minutes left on the clock, and Pervak is just taking punishment, and there it is, folks. That's another first-round TKO finish for the Russian fighters, who continue to dominate those European championships here in Dresden.
Kämpfer in der roten Ecke ist 20 Jahre jung und 1,70 Meter groß. Er wiegt 70 Kilogramm. Aus Russland, sein Gegner in der blauen Ecke ist 22 Jahre jung und 1,78 Meter groß. Er wiegt 70 Kilogramm und wird dann für das Gladiator-Team Dresden in Deutschland.
The European Championship final in the lightweight division. Islam Omarov from Russia. In the red shin pads faces Shakram Sobirov, who starts for the Gladiator Team Dresden here in Germany, but who's originally from Eastern Europe as well. Nice takedown by Omarov. After just a few brief seconds. Standing guillotine attempt by Omarov, who uses that move to power down his opponent. Hard right hands by Omarov. We have already seen 3 Russian European champions here. Omarov just might be the 4th. Another big double leg takedown. Relentless with his takedowns is the Russian. Nice top control. Takes the back of Sobirov and softens him up with punches. Still has the bag and manages to power him down to the ground. I was about to say. Sobirov just grabbed the ropes, received the warning, and now is mounted by Omarov, and that choke. Now Omarov slides into the back mount. His forearm is under the chin of Sobirov, so that choke looks tight. Both hooks are in, and there it is. The tap by Sobirov, and Islam Omarov is the new European featherweight amateur champion. And the Russians stay unbeaten in the European Championship finals.
Sieger des Kampfes durch einen Red Choke in der ersten Runde und damit Europameister im Gleichgewicht aus Russland, Islam Omarov! Und einen großen Applaus natürlich auch für den Silbermedaillengewinner der rufe seinen Gegner in die blaue Ecke, Abdulaziz Atayev. Der Kämpfer in der roten Ecke ist 26 Jahre jung und 1,79 Meter groß. Er verwendet 77 Kilogramm aus Russland. Und sein Gegner in der blauen Ecke ist 27 Jahre jung und 1,78 Meter groß. Er verwendet 77 Kilogramm und für Deutschland Abdulaziz Atayev.
Next up is the final in the welterweight division, European Championships. Kamal Magomedov from Russia faces Abdulaziz Atayev from Germany. And some of our viewers may have recognized the referee. It's a German MMA veteran, a pioneer of the German MMA scene, the Fist of Tangier, Nordin Asri. So, experienced guy as the third man in the ring, as Magomedov in the red shin pads and Atayev in the black ones. Try to find out who will be the European champion in the welterweight division. Nice spinning kicks by Magomedov. High kick attempt, a bit too slow. A nice double leg takedown attempt, but good defense by Magomedov. Atayev starts for the local team in Dresden, Gladiator MMA, has a strong wrestling background. But Magomedov seems very comfortable in sprawling and brawling in the opening minutes of this fight. Nice knee attempt by Magomedov, but Atayev uses it for a takedown, but falls into his standing guillotine and taps out immediately. What a finish by Kamal Magomedov, and Russia stays unbeaten in those European Championships. Another Russian European champion. What a quick finish. Wow.
Natürlich haben wir hier bei MMA Live auch professionelle Ringärzte vor Ort, die sich jetzt hier erstmal um diese Platzwunde auf der Nase des Langkämpfers Abdullah Shilatayev kümmern, bevor wir hier zur offiziellen Urteilsverkündung und Sieger herkommen. Ja, und der genannte MMA-Fan, dem ist vielleicht auch schon aufgefallen, dass der dritte Mann, mit dem hier ein alter Bekannter ist, nämlich ein deutscher MMA-Pionier, der schon zu Zeiten gekämpft hat, als es noch keine Großveranstaltung gab, sondern man sich mehr oder ohne gegen den Ton angemessen hat. Und man sieht es ihm nicht an, aber bis so mit Schädelgewicht angetreten ist, also er weiß auf jeden Fall, was er hier irgendwie zu tun hat. So, jetzt sieht es so aus, als ob die Ärzte hier langsam zum Ende finden. Da wird noch eine kurze Blutung gestopft. MMA ist ein harter Sport, aber die Gesundheit und die Sicherheit der Kämpfer, die hat hier natürlich oberste Priorität. So, und dann können wir zur Urteilsverkündung schreiten. Der Sieger des Kampfes durch einen Guillotine-Choke in der ersten Runde und damit Europameister im Weltergewicht aus unserer Kamera, Marco Mira! Und einen großen Applaus natürlich auch hier für den einen Kämpfer, den Silbermedaillengewinner. Großen Applaus für den Abend der Schilatayev. Und auch in dieser Gewichtsklasse gibt es zwei Bronzemedaillengewinner. Und auch die haben großen Applaus verdient. Aus der Slowakei, Karol Gusami und aus Georgien, Magda Schubice. So, und ich sehe gerade, der Gewinner, der möchte ja auch noch ein paar Worte ans Publikum richten. Mein Große hat nichts bis dahin gerostet, einiger mit Paruski, aber gleich verstehen wir trotzdem ist jetzt.
Воспользуюсь моментом, хочу поблагодарить свою команду, весь состав, безусловно, всех тренеров, тренерский состав. Всем спасибо. Иван Анатольевич Лучший, Шамиля Гвардиола, Геннадий Павлович, всем спасибо. Федор Емельянов, спасибо за такой передачу и вклад. Спасибо всем, кто занимал, спасибо.
Also, spasibo, das habt ihr sogar immer verstanden. Bedankt sich bei allen Zuschauern und sein Team. Und wir kommen dann zum 8. Kampf des heutigen Abends. Das Finale im Mittelgewicht bis 84 Kilogramm angesetzt.
я докажусь этим. Ведь это земля, это страна для меня лучшая на планете. Не думая о том, как было. Давай-ка посмотрим с другой стороны. Голову вверх, не опускать. Ведь наша страна это мы. А это наша крылья, наша крылья, мы дружим.
Und ich rufe seine Gegner die blaue Der Kämpfer in der roten Ecke ist 23 Jahre jung und 1,87 Meter groß. Er vergleicht mit 84 Kilogramm auf seinem Fußball. GMT, Mira! Sein Gegner aus der blauen Ecke ist 25 Jahre jung und 1,85 Meter groß. Auch er vergleicht mit 84 Kilogramm aus Russland.
European Championships middleweight final coming up, and again the big rivalry between Russia and White Russia. Magomed Umalatov, the Russian, in the blue shin pads, and Giannis Maher, the White Russian, in the blue shin pads. Both big middleweights. Maher 1 meter and 87 centimeters tall. Umalatov 1 meter 85, big hands, traded right from the start. And now Maher initiating the clinch, pressing up Umalatov against the ropes. And we have seen several times this evening the Russians, they are very strong on the ground, so you don't want them on top of you, so it might be a good decision for Maher to try to take Umalatov to the ground. So he will be the one ending up on top, but both fighters separated again. And they were throwing heavy leather in the opening seconds of this fight. So we might be in for a slugfest. Big right hand by Umalatov. And Maher swinging, but missing. That one was low. Takedown by Umalatov, perfectly timed, right into the guard of Maher. And that we have seen as well. The Russians are very strong from the guard. So big trouble for Giannis Maher. And again, a very dominant Russian fighter in Magomed Umalatov. 25 years young. Maher 23. But Mira is doing a good job of neutralizing Umalatov, I was about to say, but now he's standing up and raining down heavy punches and ends up in side control. Perfectly done by the Russian, while Maher is trying to regain the full guard. Another big right hand just missed by Umalatov. And that one just glazed the shin of Maher, who's eating punch after punch, and he's out. And referee Nordin Azri just jumps between those two. What a finish. Knockout in the first round, and still the Russians are unbeaten. This is becoming a Russian show here with, I believe it's the fifth already, the fifth European champion from Russia on this evening.
der Kämpfer der rote Ecke ist 25 Jahre jung und 1,85 Meter groß. Er wog mit 93 Kilogramm und kommt aus Russland. Sein Gegner der blauen Ecke ist 23 Jahre jung und 1,87 Meter groß. Er wog mit 93 Kilogramm auf der Beine.
We have seen a series of quick finishes in the last couple of fights and are already in the light heavyweight division as another Russian stud, Gaji Bashirov, faces the Ukrainian Vladislav Ilyin in the blue shin pads. Ilyin 2 centimeters taller than his Russian opponent, looks a bit more ripped. So he likely has a bit more weight regained after the official weigh-ins. Both weighed in at 93 kilos. But a muscular physique doesn't always have to be an advantage. We know that. So let's see if conditioning will play a factor in this fight. Both fighters are throwing heavy hands right from the start. So it already looks like this will be a quick finish too. Nice knee sneaked in by Bashirov, who now tried to power Ilyin down to the ground. Ilyin working the single leg. Bashirov defending well. Nice knee to the midsection by Ilyin. And a nice knee for an answer by Bashirov. Veteran referee Marco Brösen watching closely as both fighters are trading knees here in the clinch. Obviously very well matched up, at least power-wise, are these two finalists in the light heavyweight division. And as I said many times today, the Russians still unbeaten on this night. And Bashirov intends to keep that record intact as Ilyin presses him against the ropes and tries to soften him up with short punches. Judo throw attempt by Bashirov, easily defended by Ilyin. Both fighters separated again. And an applause by the crowd, who obviously appreciate what they are seeing. Spinning back fist missed by Ilyin, and Bashirov uses the opening for the quick takedown, lands in the guard of the Ukrainian. And this has been the beginning of the end for many fighters on this night who got taken down by the Russians, and from there on just beat up on the ground. Open guard by Ilyin, not a too active guard. He tries to punch from the bottom. That's not a good sign. And hard right hands by Bashirov. And Bashirov still in the wide open guard of Ilyin. Doesn't even try to pass the guard. And doesn't have to, quite frankly. He's landing shot after shot from the guard. So, steps over easily. Very bad ground game from the back by Ilin, who's trying to push away Bashirov. But the Russian won't let it happen. Is pressuring his opponent, punching constantly, and still sits in half guard. Under 50 seconds left in the first round of this fight. European Championship on the line. Short right punches by Bashirov. Not the best ground game by Ilin, who doesn't even try to work himself back into the guard. And by doing so, leaves a lot of openings for Bashirov to rain down his punches. Sloppy half guard by Ilin. As we're approaching the break. Wow, big right hand just missed by Bashirov. There's his 10-second warning. And we might see the break for the first time in a lot of fights tonight. That ended quickly in the first round. So both the heavyweights will continue in the second round. And now we will see if conditioning will play a factor. Bashirov already breathing heavy, no wonder. He was punching constantly, he was on top, pressuring Ilin. And we can't really see if Ilin is taking a breather or if he's in good shape. And the start of that second round. High kick missed by Bashirov here in this highlights of the first round. It looked at the beginning as if Vladislav Ilin would take the upper hand, clinched Bashirov up against the ropes, landed a few good punches, but then he missed with this spinning back fist right here, and Bashirov took him down immediately and with effort, and from there on controlled the fight. Second round is on the way. Both fighters shake hands. Great show of respect by both men. And Bashirov opens up with a low kick, but directly answered by Ilin. Bashirov had a big first round, but is breathing heavy at the start of the second one. While Ilin looks to be the fresher guy here. Can he capitalize and turn this thing around? Bashirov now clinching Ilin up against the ropes. Ilin lands a knee. And Ilin needs to be careful here that he doesn't get taken down again by the Russian, as his ground game really wasn't up to par. Big left hand landed by Bashirov, and a couple of small hands landed by Ilin. Both fighters taking it a bit slower. Big right hand landed by Bashirov, as both men are starting to breathe heavier. Now it's Ilin who initiates the clinch and presses Bashirov against the ropes. Nice knee. And a takedown attempt worked for Ilin, and now he's the one on top. Can he capitalize? He has more than 3 minutes left in this round. And now we can see how Bashirov works from his back. Attacking with elbows to the shoulder. Elbows to the body allowed here in amateur competition, but not to the head. Now Bashirov needs to watch the back of the head of Ilin. as Ilin drags him to the cage to pin him up there, but Bashirov manages to stand up again as Ilin takes his back but gets thrown to the ground, and now he's on bottom and Bashirov back on top. And that means trouble for the Ukrainian fighter. Knee on belly position for Bashirov, who seems to be working on the arm. Oh, let it go. Ilin now tries to work back into half guard at least, but that won't be enough to keep Bashirov at bay, as the Russian continues to land hammer fist after hammer fist. And those are small punches, guys, but they hurt, and they will add up on the scorecards. And if Bashirov can finish this round strong, it's do or die for Ilin in the third round. Bashirov still in half guard here, doesn't even want to pass the half guard of Ilin. He could if he wanted to, but he obviously feels comfortable from this position, lands body shots and small head shots. Nothing too big, but as I said, they add up on the scorecards. Under a minute to go in the second round. And again, Ilin looked good at the beginning, but it all went downhill as soon as he got taken down again by Bashirov. Well, Bashirov needs to create some space here, posture up, to land heavier shots, because with those small shots he won't be able to finish the fight. And he will have to go to a third round. I don't know if he wants that. He is breathing heavy and he spends a lot of energy with all those punches. But Ilin, of course, spends a lot of energy as well, defending on the bottom. Last seconds of the second round, and this could be the longest fight of the night yet, as we will see a third round. Both fighters are celebrating. I believe they think they will have a... I think they believe the fight's already finished. And obviously it is. This fight was scheduled for 3 rounds, but obviously this fight is over.
Schwergewicht. Und ich rufe in die rote Ecke, Mira. Der Kämpfer in der roten Ecke ist 22 Jahre jung und 1,90 Meter groß. Der Bürger mit 98 Kilogramm aus der Ukraine, Mira. Und sein Gegner in der blauen Ecke ist 25 Jahre jung und ebenfalls 1,90 Meter groß. Der Bürger mit 105 Kilogramm aus Russland,
The heavyweight finals in the European Amateur Championships. Bagrat Adamia from Ukraine faces Rizvan Kuniev from Russia, who looks to make it a perfect night for the Russian team. Kuniev in the blue trunks, Adamia in the black and red trunks. We see a size difference of over 10 kilos. Or almost 10 kilos, I should say. As Kuniev is approaching Adamia with big hands. Nice kick to the body by Adamia from the Ukraine. And obviously all European Championship fights scheduled for 2 5-minute rounds. Good that we were able to clear that up in the last fight of the evening. as Koniev continues to stalk down the Ukrainian and lands a big right. Adamia seems to have problem finding the right distance. Gets a warning by referee Marco Brersen to keep his mouth shut so the mouthpiece won't come out. Adamia fighting in the southpaw stance, but catches a big left by Kuniev. Over 100 kilos. Oh, and another big left by Kuniev as Adamia goes down, and referee Marco Brersen steps in to avoid any further damage to the Ukrainian. And the Russians make it a perfect night as they won almost all European championships here in Dresden.
Sieger des Kampfes durch Knockout in der ersten Runde und dann noch Europameister im Schwergewicht aus Russland, Mira. Und natürlich auch wieder einen großen Applaus für den Silbermedaillengewinner aus der Ukraine, für Mira.
Nicht beiseite schieben.
So, wie wir unschwer heute erkennen konnten, hat das russische Team hier einiges abräumen können und wir kommen nun noch einmal zu einer finalen Siegerehrung, bei der die erfolgreichsten Teams, die drei besten Teams, gesondert geehrt werden. Das Ganze tun wir da drüben auf der Bühne und da freuen wir uns jetzt drauf. In wenigen Sekunden sehen wir hier die besten Teams der European Championships hier in Dresden. Nun sind auch wirklich alle Sieger der Europameisterschaften geehrt, aber 3 große Kämpfe haben wir noch. Wir machen weiter mit den Profis im Weltergewicht bis 77 Kilogramm. Dieser Kampf angesetzt auf 3 Runden und ich rufe für die neue Dynamo. Und ich rufe seinen Gegner in die rote Ecke aus Dresden, Der Kämpfer in der blauen Ecke ist 32 Jahre jung und 1 Meter und 79 groß. Er hat Profi bislang 3 Kämpfe bestritten und kommt vom Team in Serbien. Sein Gegner in der roten Ecke ist 32 Jahre jung und 1 Meter und 80 groß. Er ist ungeschlagen als Profi und Dritter für das Team hier in Dresden.
We have already crowned 10 European champions, but still have 3 big fights ahead, and start off with the pros in the welterweight division. This fight scheduled for 3 rounds as Dalibor Setko from Serbia in the black trunks faces Akbarjon Saidov, the local hero here from Dresden, in the white trunks. Welterweight action coming up next. Stiff jab by Saidov. And a push kick by Setko. Both fighters don't have that many fights as pros, but as you can see, had an extensive amateur career already. Very experienced at the start of their respective pro careers. Overhand right by Saidov. And a big left catches Setko on the temple. High kick missed. And another big right by Saidov. Both fighters throwing vicious attacks, standing up. Another big right by Saidov. And Setko stays in the center of the ring. Takedown attempt by Saidov. Gets it right into the guard of Setko. And that means trouble for the Serbian fighter, as Saidov has a strong wrestling background, as almost all the fighters from Dresden's MMA Gladiator team have. Born in Tajikistan, now lives and trains here in Dresden. Another Eastern European MMA prospect. Big left by Setko from the bottom. But Saidov, with his strong wrestling background, will be very hard to throw off. Now open guard for Setko, who's trying to keep Saidov at bay with his feet, but has minimal success with it so far. As Saidov lands one hammer fist after another. Referee Jörg Lothmann stands both fighters up. Obviously not enough action for the veteran referee. We have seen vicious attacks from both fighters in the stand-up department. Another big overhand right by Saidov, and another one. But Setko staying calm, but catches a big left, and now he was on wobbly legs. Saidov tries to finish the fight with a guillotine, and there Setko taps. Quick finish by Saidov, and the crowd in Dresden reacts as their local hero, their hometown fighter, finishes this fight in the first round.
Der Kämpfer der blauen Ecke ist 26 Jahre jung und 1 Meter und 77 groß. Seine Bilanz 10 Kämpfe, 8 Siege. Von der Dienst des Vorgesetzten Paris in Frankreich, sein Gegner in der roten Ecke ist 29 Jahre jung und 1 Meter und 80 groß. Er ist ungeschlagen in 4 Kämpfen als Profi und er wird Lokalamatador in der Kategorie in Dresden.
Featherweight action coming up as hometown fighter Bakhtiar Abdullayev on your right faces Frenchman Julien Gracho, who is way more experienced in the pro department, has 10 fights under his belt, 8 of them victories, compared to 4 fights and 4 victories on the side of Bakhtiar Abdullayev, who immediately tries to take down Gracho with a judo throw. And interestingly, it was Gracho who was initiating the clinch here. Might have been not the best idea against a strong wrestler as Abdullayev. As I said, most of the fighters here from the Dresden's Gladiator MMA team are very strong wrestlers, and we can see that right here. Body lock by Abdullayev, but gets turned around by Gracho, who's now pressing the Dresden fighter on the ropes. Little foot stomps right here. Taking a page out of Marco Hua's book. Double underhooks for Gracho, but he doesn't really do much with it. Oh no, I see, it's an over-under for Gracho. And he needs to do a bit more, otherwise referee Nordin Atri will separate both fighters. Have a close look here. The veteran fighter and now turned a referee. Tried for the standing guillotine there was Julian Gracho. But Abdullayev now seems to dominate the clinch. And there it is. Nordin Atri separated both fighters. And we're back in the stand-up. Kickboxing might not be the strong suit of Abdullayev, but he knows how to defend and how to attack standing up. But as I said, his strong suit is the wrestling. And he will use those kicks and those punches. There they shake hands. Gracho says that kick was blocked. Abdullayev will use his punches and kicks to work for takedowns, but now he hits Gracho, sends him to the canvas. High-paced fight now. It seemed to be more of a slip for Gracho, who stumbled backwards while blocking this kick by Abdullayev. Abdullayev with a very low left hand. Has to be careful because Gracho can throw up a right punch. And there it is. And Gracho used this right hand to cover the distance, initiate the clinch, and now both fighters are back on the ropes. But again, Gracho not doing much here, trying to work for the single. And he gets it as Abdullayev grabs the ropes. And is still defending the single leg. Now he's out. And turned Gracho around. And it's Abdullayev who scores the takedown right into half guard. Now he's back to full guard. Gracho has won 8 of 10 fights in his pro career, so he obviously knows how to overcome situations like this, but he needs to do more from bottom to force Abdullayev to make mistakes and turn this thing around here. Because right now Abdullayev is dominating from top, hitting the body, hitting the head. Active guard for Gracho, who grabs the arm of Abdullayev and is going for the triangle choke, it looks like. And that's the experience of a 10-fight veteran. Triangle attempt by Gracho. Could this be the first defeat for Abdullayev? No, he breaks free and rains down hard right hands. Has to be careful with the head here. And there's the break. First round is in the books. Good round for both fighters. But Abdullayev, obviously with a strong finish, has to be careful though on the ground. As we saw, Gracho dangerous from the back. Went right for the triangle there, but good defense by Abdullayev. Here's some highlights from the first round. A lot of clinch work done by both fighters. But it was Abdullayev in the end who got the takedown and dominated from there. A takedown attempt by Gracho. But again, good defense by Abdullayev, who eventually got a takedown himself. and was able to land a couple of good punches, but it wasn't too active. So interesting round for both fighters. Let's see what both can bring in the second frame. So both fighters are ready for the second round. Crowd appreciates the action here, and off we go. The right eye of Gracho already starts to swell, courtesy of a left hand by Abdullayev. And another big one rattles Gracho, but he keeps moving forward like a Terminator. This man can take a punch, folks. Nice high kick attempt by Gracho. And Abdullayev already breathing heavy. Most of his fights ended pretty quickly. I had the pleasure of calling most of them as a commentator. So Gracho is taking the local hero into deep waters here as the second round continues. 4 minutes to go. Spinning back kick. Feinted. And now both fighters are back in the clinch. Another trip takedown attempt by Abdullayev. Worked for him in the first round, and it works for him in the second as well. Right back to the guard of Gracho. But we saw in the first round, Gracho can attack from the bottom. Already blocking the right hand of Abdullayev. As Abdullayev is trying to stand up a bit and pressure Gracho from the top, making it hard for the Frenchman to initiate any form of submission attack here, and really no space to attack the neck or attack the arm of Abdullayev. But on the other hand, no space for Abdullayev either to land any significant striking attacks from the top. What he needs to do here is he has to pass the, most of the times, open guard of Gracho to improve his position and get any significant attacks going. And now Gracho is attacking the leg of Abdullayev. Knee bar attempts here by the Frenchman, who stays dangerous from the bottom. Good jiu-jitsu by Julien Gracho, but nicely blocked by Abdullayev, who takes a rather funny position and is back to the guard now. Abdullayev is really not doing much here with his top position, and it's only a matter of time until referee Nordi Nasri will stand him back up. To be honest, Julien Gracho is more active from the bottom than Abdullayev is from the top. And there it is, stand up, both fighters are back on their feet. Abdullayev seemed to be getting the better of those striking exchanges. So let's look if he can land the big one here with a little over a minute to go in this second round. Nicely done by Gracho, but gets turned on the way in. Feinted the right hand, went for the double leg, but got turned over by Abdullayev. Nicely done by the Dresden fighter, who's now back into the half butterfly guard. Now tries to step over and slide into half guard. Better position now for Abdullayev, who needs to create some space and land punches here in the final seconds of the second round. Another good round for Abdullayev, but not really happening much in this ground fighting sequences here. Gracho now holding on to Abdullayev. Very active hips from Julian Gracho. And great sign of sportsmanship by Abdullayev, who helps his opponent up back to his feet. And we will see a third and final round. Abdullayev breathing heavy. Oh, high kick missed here. As we enjoy the highlights of the second round. Nice takedown attempt by Gracho. And a nice throw by Abdullayev. But as I said, didn't do much with it on the ground. As we approach the final round, we take a look at both fighters. And Gracho looks exhausted here. Very grueling fight for him. Most of the time he spent on his back and had to defend against the attacks of Abdullayev, and also had to try to initiate some attack of his own. Very demanding style of fighting. So we'll see how much he has left in the tank going into the third round. Abdullayev looking the fresher man of the two. Light on his feet, bouncing around. And the left hand of Gracho is always very, very low. Always on chest level. Now he attempts the double leg takedown, but gets easily defended. Another attempt. But it defended again by Abdullayev, who's now clinched up against the ropes. Now Gracho jumps into the guillotine, but Abdullayev slams into the mat with effort. Gracho working on the left leg of Abdullayev, single leg attempt. Can he get it? Spends a lot of energy doing so. His hips are too high to finish this one. And Abdullayev easily turns him around to the ropes. Tries a trip takedown of his own. Gracho now on his back. But watch for the leg locks. And there it is. But Abdullayev answers with hard punches. And now gets the back of Gracho. One hook already in. And second one, not yet. Abdullayev obviously has the crown behind his back as the hometown fighter. Hard hooks from the back mount position by Bakhtiar Abdullayev. How many of those can the Frenchman take? Abdullayev turns. And there he goes for the rear naked choke, and this one looks tight, folks. Will Gracho tap out here? 2 minutes and 40 seconds still to go. A lot of time in this round, and the forearm is under the chin of the Frenchman. Abdullayev just needs to pull tight. Needs to readjust his grip a little bit. Gracio's defending the choke well. He is obviously not looking for an easy way out here. So big heart for the Frenchman, but there's the tap. And Bakhtior Abdullayev stays unbeaten in his 5th fight and wins this thing by rear naked choke in the 3rd round.
Sieger des Kampfes durch eine Rear-Naked-Choke in der 3. Runde und eine immer noch komische Seite auf diesen Bakhtior Abdullayev. Also der Lukas bleibt unser 5. Profikampf ungeschlagen. Dieser Kampf ist angesetzt auf 5 mal 5 Minuten und es geht um den MMA-Titel im Leichtgewicht. Der Kämpfer in der blauen Ecke ist 28 Jahre jung und 1 Meter und 82 groß. Seine Bilanz 12 Kämpfe, 9 Siege. Er kämpft für die Alpha Akademie aus Österreich. Sado, der Panther, und sein Gegner in der roten Ecke ist 26 Jahre jung und 1 Meter und 76 groß. Seine Bilanz 9 Kämpfe, 9 Siege. Er ist der amtierende MMA-Champion im Leichtgewicht von der Universität Dresden.
That's the big one. Main event of the evening, MMA Live lightweight title on the line. Loic Rajabov, the champion. Sado Ukar from Austria, the challenger. This fight scheduled for 5 5-minute rounds. Veteran referee Marco Blursen. And the title fight is on the way. Loic Rajabov, one of the scariest talents out of Germany. 9 fights, 9 victories, finished almost all of them, and instantly takes down Ukar and lands in his guard. And if you never have seen Loic Rajabov fight, this man is dangerous from the top. Throws big hard hands and has finished lots of fights from the guard of his opponents. So bad news here for the challenger Sado Ukar. And I would be very surprised if we would see this fight go the distance of 25 minutes. In only 9 fights, Rajabov has already captured lots of prestigious titles here in Germany. The GMC title being one of them in his last fight, which has been the toughest fight of his career to date. And now he's back on home soil, defending his MMA Live championship against the experienced 12-fight veteran Sado Ukar. Blursen has seen enough, stood both fighters up. Big hands by Rajabov, who comes in swinging all the time. What Ukar needs to do is he needs to throw straight punches to counter. But Rajabov already back in the clinch and already working on another takedown. And there he gets it right into half guard, no, into side control even. And again, bad news for Ukar, but Rajabov needs to do more with his top position. As you saw, Blursen will stand them up instantly otherwise. Ukar was working on the shoulder lock there, but Rajabov just turned out of it. Big uppercuts here by the Dresden fighter to the body, to the head, but Ukar took him without even blinking. Both fighters now trading punches here in the middle. And Rajabov is back to the clinch. Stand-up might be the only Achilles heel that Rajabov has. He throws hard punches, but he's not the most technical stand-up fighter. But as soon as he covers the distance and gets in close, he feels very comfortable. He's now back to the guard. 2 minutes left in the first round. And again, Rajabov not doing much here. Ukar grabbing his arm, keeping him tight. And there's another stand-up. And this isn't a wrestling match. Rajabov is scoring takedowns and he's winning this round, but he's not really doing much as soon as he's hitting the ground with Ukar. Work for the single leg there. Good defense by Ukar, who needs to get something going in the stand-up department right now because Rajabov will take him back down again. And there it is. Big takedown by the Dresden fighter, by Loic Rajabov. Now in a north-south position. Ukar is blocking the arm of Rajabov. Rajabov just needs to work to the left. And he can isolate the arm of Ukar. No, he's going for the north-south choke, it looks like. But good defense by Ukar, who's now on his back again. And as this first round comes to a close, I need to mention that Loic Rajabov has shown problems with his conditioning in the past. So the longer this fight goes, the better for Ukar, as the muscular, powerful Rajabov empties his gas tank very quick, but lands a big right. Ukar goes to the ground, sits on his bottom, and Rajabov tries to go for the finish here. Big hands. But Ukar seems to have gotten his composure back now. Knee on belly position now for Rajabov. 10-second warning. And the round is over. Big first round for Loic Rajabov, who, in my opinion, needs to do more on the ground, but almost scored a knockout here with this big overhand right. I hope we can see that again in the highlights, because that was a hell of a punch. And I'm amazed that Ukar took it. There's one of those many takedowns that Rajabov scored in this round. And Ukar went for the Kimura, but Rajabov just spinned out of it. And here's, no, I thought this was the big right hand. And here it is, no, it still isn't. But it's a big takedown that we saw by Loic Rajabov. And this was a big right hook by Rajabov that sent Ukar to the ground. But as I said, got his composure back quickly, stayed in the fight. That's the experience of a 12-fight pro veteran. The Panther, Sado Ukar. Rajabov again pushing the pace. Stalking down Ukar, catches him again with a big right. And Ukar is back on his back. Rajabov now with a guillotine attempt. And big right hands again from the top. Well, Ukar is staying in this fight, but he doesn't really get any offense going. Almost completely in defensive mode here. Against the A-Train, Loic Rajabov. Nice sweep by Ukar. Almost took down Rajabov. But he went back straight to his feet. And now back to the clinch. Standing guillotine attempt by Ukar, who tries to use every opening he can find, but tough to submit a stalky guy like Rajabov with a standing guillotine. That guy almost has no neck. Very muscular fighter. Almost looks like Ukar wants to go to the ground. let himself fall to his back there. Rajabov trying to pass the legs here. Just easily turns over Ukar. I don't really know what Ukar is doing here. Now he goes for the leg. Footlock attempt by Ukar, but he is too low on the leg of Rajabov. He will have the opportunity to just slide out of there. Nevertheless, nice attempt by Ukar. Working on the single leg now, but as I said, Rajabov, strong wrestler, hard to take down from any position. And Rajabov waiting for the stand-up here, and there it is. And watch out for this big right hand of Loic Rajabov. He landed it 2 times already in this fight. And as they say, all good things come in threes. But he has to be careful as Ukar is firing back now. There was a thumb to the eye. Unintentionally. Still warning by Marco Persson. Loic Rajabov will get a couple of minutes to get back into fight mode. Well, it's good for him. He can take a breather. As I said, had trouble with his stamina in the past. But now he's ready to go on. As the second round is almost over. 1 minute and 40 still to go. And Rajabov is loading up now, waiting for this right hand. Big uppercut. But as he waits to hit that big right, he leaves openings for Ukar to initiate striking attacks of his own. There's a cut under the right eye of Ukar, courtesy of a big left of Rajabov. A little over 1 minute to go in the second round. Nice knee counter by Ukar. And as I said, Rajabov, he is getting slower, he is doing less, and that creates openings for Ukar. And that cut obviously seems to be above the right eye of Ukar. Hopefully that won't be a problem as this fight goes on. Nice uppercuts in the clinch by Rajabov. Both fighters already look exhausted, and this fight is scheduled for 5 5-minute rounds. So still 15 minutes to go if no one scores an early finish. Spinning back kick by Rajabov. Well, another good round by Rajabov, but as I said, he starts to fade. He's loading up with his right hand, waiting for it to land. And that enables Ukar to make some kind of a comeback here. Big low kick. Everything that Loic Rajabov throws, he throws with bad intentions, with all the power he has, and that's the reason why he's gassing so fast. But still, big round for Rajabov, 2-0 on my card for the hometown hero, Loic Rajabov. Here we see the MMA dogs working on the 2 cuts in the face of Ukar. 2 nice souvenirs from this fight here in Dresden. As I said, the one below the eye looked very small, that won't be a problem, but the one above the eye looked considerably bigger. And cuts above the eye, always a bad thing. As soon as this blood starts pouring into the eye, this fight can be stopped. Rajabov now working his left hand. But Ukar now hitting with his right and falls to the ground again. He obviously wants to fight from his back against Rajabov here, but I don't really get why, because most of the time he spent on his back in this fight. He didn't look too good. Big left hand by Rajabov. Who's waiting for another stand-up here, obviously. I don't get it why Ukar fell on his back so easily. He looked not too bad in the stand-up. Nice push kick to the legs by Ukar. Up kick attempts by Ukar, but Rajabov almost past the legs. Now he does, right into side control. Now he's back to half guard. And sneaks a right hand in. Person stands both fighters back up. Rajabov, an infamous finisher, has a hard time doing so in this fight. Another big takedown by Rajabov. As Ukar went for the standing guillotine, not a good idea against a strong wrestler, as we just saw. Rajabov now wall walking, working on a choke here. And there it is. Tap out. And there's the finish by Loic Rajabov, who stays unbeaten in his 10th pro fight. And dominated this fight as long as it lasted. But hats off to Sado Ukar, who stayed in there as long as possible.